Today on the Locked On Hornets podcast, we rank a few possibilities of certain Hornets achievements this season and beyond. We take a second stab at the stat draft, and then it's who wore it best. Jersey number 3. All today, LOH.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your podcast, and that includes YouTube. There's Doug Branson, still the curator of everyhornetsboxscore.com. Still, for one more day, the host of Locked On NBA.
One more day.
I know. You haven't announced it to anybody else yet. I love that you chose to announce it earlier this week on this show. So if you listen to Locked On Hornets, then you're in the know. And people are just leaving random comments in the sicko sewer that is the YouTube comment section of Locked On NBA saying, hey, Doug, I'm sorry to hear about it. I loved you on the show, yada, yada. While everybody else is just ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, baby.
I don't even think Matt and Hayes know. They're going to be really surprised on Monday when I'm not there.
Tune in. I'm going to tune in for that. I can't wait to see how that goes over. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. I am still the host, the co-host of Wes and Walker. Real quickly, want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game time? I got to put the hand up to the mouth and announce it a little bit more. Game Time? Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I'd noticed that was something people like seeing on our YouTube page, and so I want to make sure I give the people what they want. We got to give people rank radio because it's silly season. We just keep rolling through it. I love it. This time we're ranking 1 through 10 what we think could happen with certain Hornets achievements, certain Hornets categories. And so basically if we say, I don't know, I'm just making one up at the top of the dome here, but the Hornets win the championship, 1 through 10. What's the possibility that happens? Perhaps
the NBA championship?
Sicko, the NBA championship. Maybe it's a 0. Maybe it probably should be. If it's an NBA Cup, maybe you say I would rank the chances of that happening a 2 out of 10. Whatever, you guys get the idea. So, Doug, you created this. You have some categories for us. What's the first one on the list?
Oh, no. I'm not going to take credit. I did not create this. I'm a big fan of the Charlotte Hornets Reddit page, and I peruse it almost daily. Great. And so I came across this on the Charlotte Hornets Reddit page, and user RVA Lover for Life asks this on Reddit. Out of 10, how likely do you think it is that LaMelo Ball is an all-star in the 2025-26 season? Injuries to multiple Eastern Conference stars and teams taking step backwards, as well as the depreciation of talent overall in the Eastern Conference this offseason, means there will be more available spots on the Eastern Conference All-Star team this season. How likely do you think it is that LaMelo takes one of those spots?
The media and the coaches are trying to keep him out as best as they possibly can. And really, it's not the players, because the players pretty much got it right the last go around. I think they had him 3rd in Eastern Conference guards, and it felt like that's probably where he should be. The fans had him number 1, far and away, at least with the Eastern Conference guards. And the media, those damn media members, I can't stand them. They're the ones that kept LaMelo out. And so LaMelo was not an all-star last year despite leading everybody in all those votes. That's what you're working against. You're also working against having a losing basketball team each of the last couple of years. You're fighting against the narrative from the media, those damn media members once again. The narrative is that LaMelo Ball is not a winning player, and so now when the Hornets don't win games, they look right at LaMelo, the head of the snake, and say it's all his fault. So it's going to be tough. Eastern Conference, how many guards do they have that would get in above them? It's pretty talented. I know that our guy was talking about some talent depreciation. I would say you still have Jalen Brunson. You still have Donovan Mitchell. You still have Trae Young, who people are a little sour on. I get it. Still somebody you have to compete with at the very least. Desmond Bane is over in Orlando now. That's actually somebody that goes from the West to the East. I think there's probably this luster with Desmond Bane moving to a different team, and now we get to see him maybe allow Orlando to get to a different space. 1 out of 10. I'm going to go 5 out of 10, and I'm going to view
Coin
that
flip.
as a 50% chance. I'm going to go 50-50 odds here. Give me 5 out of 10 that LaMelo is an all-star this upcoming season.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, LaMelo Ball. That was how the players ranked at 1, 2, 3. The voters had it LaMelo Ball, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. And then who do they have fourth? They had Dame Lillard fourth in the fan vote. And then the media votes was LaMelo seventh, Donovan Mitchell 1, Jalen Brunson 2. So, yeah, if Mitchell and Brunson are healthy, that's probably going to remain your 1-2 among players and media. And I think if LaMelo balls out again, then he's going to be top 2 in the fan vote, if not number 1 again. And so then it comes down to, can he improve his media vote? And the only way he's going to do that is if the Charlotte Hornets are winning basketball games. And you sigh at that.
No, I want to change my answer. Okay. I'm going to go 6 out of 10. Okay. This is what I do with LaMelo in the offseason, though, because I, too, am a sicko. Tyrese Halliburton, you're not going to have to compete with him. If he was coming off of an NBA Finals appearance, I think that's going to carry a lot of weight, especially if Tyrese got off to a hot start. So you don't have to compete with him. You do with Cade Cunningham, I guess, as well in Detroit, and Darius Garland's another name. I just think LaMelo's going to be better this year. I just think finally the talent around him is going to help. I just want to change it to 6 out of 10. I apologize.
I think he's going to be better, too. I don't know if that actually improves his chances. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why I think, even though, you've got a few guys who will not be competing for this spot because of injury. But Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, he was 13th in, I mean, obviously these numbers would improve coming off of the finals, but he was 13th among fans. He was 10th among players, and then 0 votes from the media. I mean, LaMelo at least got 3 votes. He would have seen some improvement, so he drops off. But I would say the guy to watch out for is Derek White, because he's going to have so much more opportunity in Boston with Tatum being hurt. Tatum being hurt, actually, I think hurts LaMelo's chances a little bit, and that Derek White, I think, is going to get a lot of shine if he improves his game. That's a big if, okay? But the more dangerous one is Cade Cunningham, because now he has some playoff experience. People are starting to whisper about him being in the top 5 of MVP voting when this season is all said and done. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit gets off to a hot start. If Cade's not only getting love from the media, but he's also getting love from players, because, again, playoff experience, I think people just respect that more when you have some versus when you have none that LaMelo has. So I think LaMelo could actually play better. I think the Hornets could win more games. I think he would still get love from the fans, but I don't know that he could get enough love from the media to make up for the fact that the players might drop him a little bit.
So the reason I raised it up to 6 is because, yes, we both have gone over. We do think he's going to be better. We think the Hornets are going to win more games. I think he'll be more efficient, whatever better means to you. I think he'll be that for the most part. And I think LaMelo was the last guy on the outside looking in, or the first outside looking in player. So all you have to do is increase your stance with the media just a little bit. And if you're 6 or if you're 5, because the Hornets are winning games and you have better efficiency numbers, that's all you need. I don't think the fans are going to go away from LaMelo. So if he is better, maybe that's the only way we need to view this is, can you increase your standing with media from 7 to 6 or 7 to 5? And if you do that and everything plays out the way that it did last year, then you're in. So I think all of that gives me a 60% chance of LaMelo making the All-Star game.
The tough thing for LaMelo is he's got to get into one of those 2 spots, because I do think if he's on the outside looking in, it's going to be very difficult for him to get any love from the coaches, particularly if the Hornets are not, they don't have a playoff level record, which I don't anticipate them to have even in the early parts of the season. So I just, he has got to play. I mean, the numbers have to be as gaudy, and one I think would fairly question, like, if the point totals are as gaudy as they were last season, but the efficiency is the same, then are the Hornets any better than they were last season?
If so, they can't be. They have to be better. Efficiency has to be better. It just does. And if that doesn't happen, then you're right. We're going to be questioning what he can do. I think a really good shot of LaMelo making the All-Star team would have to involve, it doesn't have to, but it would be nice if Charles Lee was a head coach of the Eastern Conference All-Star game. And if that's the case, then maybe LaMelo sneaks in. Now, what are the chances of that happening? I would put that as very low on the 10-point Richter scale also. But, Doug, when it comes to Charles Lee, all right, this is the next one on the list. when it comes to Charles Lee being the Charlotte Hornets head coach for at least the next 3 seasons? Is he going to be the head coach in 3 years? What is the possibility of that happen in scale 1 to 10?
I don't think I ever gave my answer for LaMelo. I will put it at 5 of 10. I'll say it's a coin flip. You had it. Did you go to 7 or did you just get to 6?
I went to 6.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go 1 under you.
I could keep climbing. By the end of the show, I could keep going to 8, maybe. Maybe. We'll see.
So, yeah, it's a coin flip for me. Charles Lee being the head coach in 3 years. So we're saying he's a 5th-year coach, because I always have this thing where it's like you really have 4 years and you've got to make the playoffs and probably win in the playoffs, or your message to the team, particularly if you have a team that stays like continuous, stays together, the message starts to wear off. This happened to Clifford during his first run. They couldn't get past the first round, and him wanting the team to play defense just could not get them to maintain that same intensity on that end of the floor because the message just wore off. And so I think the answer to this question is, do they make a playoff series and potentially win one in the next 3 years? I think it's going to be difficult. I would put this at, man, him and Jeff Peterson are really close, though. I could see him getting a longer leash than typical, but I'm still going to put this at a 4 out of 10 until they make a big move for a bigger star player that could go alongside LaMelo or Brandon. I got to put this at a 4 out of 10.
So what was the math you did with what year?
So he would be a 5th-year head coach. He would survive the 4-year term that I think head coaches have. Okay. I think you could look at this statistically and say guys have a 4-year leash before they have to win a playoff series or they got to get out.
If he did that, then he would reach the longest consecutive streak of being a Hornets head coach alongside Steve Clifford and Alan Bristow.
Yeah,
that would be a record.
Bristow. Oh, like Cowan. Yeah, Cowan's quit. Silas?
Cowan's
they
quit.
Moved. The team moved.
That's right. There were a few circumstances that did not allow Silas to reach 4 years in a row.
Like choking
Steve
out
Clifford,
Tyrese Thomas.
There's that as well. So Steve Clifford was the head coach 5 consecutive years. Alan Bristow, head coach 5 consecutive years. Steve Clifford actually came back. I think that's what happens. I think Charles Lee gets fired at the end of the season, and then he comes back after the other coach that's fired to replace him. They'll just go right back to Charles Lee. So just to put it in perspective, right? You said 4 out of 10. That might seem low. I hope you're wrong, but history is overwhelmingly on your side. And that's what people need to understand, is that if Charles Lee got to a 5th year with the Hornets, then he would tie for most consecutive years coaching this franchise. Oh my God, we've been down bad for quite some time. I think that's a pretty good answer. It feels right to me. But to be just a little bit different on a scale of 0 to 10, I do think that this is a regime that wants to make the move. I trust them. I don't know why. I could be naive. I trust this regime to go all in at some point. I think they earned a lot of my respect in what they've done this past offseason. I'll go 5 out of 10. Give me a 50% chance of Charles Lee going into his 5th year. And just another factoid about how rare that is. When James Borrego was in his 4th season as the Hornets head coach, I remember seeing a graphic of Borrego being top 5 longest tenured head coach in the league at that point because of just how much turnover happens. It's really tough. I'll give it a 50-50 proposition, but maybe that's way too high given the history. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
Okay, we just went through a couple of the categories. We still have a couple more to get to on the other side, and we have David's 1st and 2nd round picks in the stat draft. We might go 3 rounds if we have enough time. We'll definitely make at least our round 2 picks in the stat draft. It's all still to come. Locked On Hornets. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, and whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments, it's really tough. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is here for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you, and you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Oh, wow, that's nice. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA. More Locked On Hornets ahead. We always say we'll go through some things quicker. We never do, so I'm not going to promise it, but I promise I'll try to get through a couple of these other categories just a little more quickly. Up next here, Doug, you choose one of the LaMelo ones because they're very similar, but what's the LaMelo sentence you want to go with here?
So LaMelo is well, let's go LaMelo asks to be traded first, and then we'll do LaMelo is traded. LaMelo asks to be traded out of 10.
So they can't make the postseason. I think, it has to go really wrong because it's already gone pretty terribly. And he hasn't asked for a trade or even come close, reportedly, of asking for a trade. I think he has to be injured again. The Hornets can't make the playoffs and can't come anywhere close. They can't make the play-in. LaMelo has to be so far out of All-Star consideration that he has to do something drastic because demanding a trade would be pretty drastic. I also think there's a possibility with all that stuff happening that LaMelo still wouldn't ask for a trade. I don't know if that's the kind of guy LaMelo is. You can call it what you want with his personality because he does care so much to try to win and turn this organization around, or because he just wants to hoop and he doesn't really think about all that other stuff. Just give him a basketball, put him out there on the court, and he'll put on any jersey. He doesn't care enough to demand a trade out of Charlotte. I think it's pretty low, Doug. If he gets traded, I think it's probably the call of the front office here. Give me 2 out of 10. I thought about 3. I don't think it happens. Give me a 20% chance.
Yeah, I might look like a fool, but I would go 1 of 10.
Yeah.
And because I think to publicly demand a trade in the way that we've seen some of the bigger stars in the league do it, it's not just a thing where you like go to your agent and you're like, hey, can you like go to ESPN or somebody and like tell them I'm demanding a trade and let's just do it that way. You have to put yourself into it. You have to do a little Jimmy Butler, I'm not going to the plane when everybody else is waiting on the tarmac sort of situation. You have to be willing to like play the game. And I'll go right with you, Walker. I think he's just here to hoop. I think if he were traded, it would be either the organization going to LaMelo and saying, look, here's what we're thinking, this is what we're going to do. Or I think it would be them coming together mutually and saying, hey, this isn't working, let's figure this out. I don't see him doing sort of a Jimmy Butler or a Dwight Howard or on and on and on, Kevin Durant or something down the line where it's like, now actually the Kevin Durant Phoenix situation might be a good sort of situation to look at and say where those two kind of came together and said, look, this isn't going to work. Let's figure this out together. That's how I would see it happening. So I'll go 1 of 10.
Okay, 1 of 10 that he asked for a trade. What about that he is traded? Where are you there?
I mean, again, I think that how could you not say that the likelihood of another ankle injury isn't moderate, at least moderate, if not high, given the history? And if that were to happen, then I think that the organization would have to seriously consider it. And they're good. That value suddenly drops because he has a huge contract number, several years to go, and a history of injuries in a place where you don't really want a shifty guard to have those injuries. So it would be difficult for the Hornets, but I think they would have to explore it. So, gosh, I mean, I'd put this at 7 of 10, honestly. I mean, I think it's...
Oh, damn. Okay, you think he's getting traded. All right, I think
not,
we're going to get our first big difference.
Not immediately, but I think, do I see LaMelo finishing his career in Charlotte? No, I do not. I don't see that. I don't see him going up, retiring from the league unless it's an injury retirement. He just can't play anymore. But like, I don't see him retiring as a Charlotte Hornet. I think it ultimately ends with some kind of, I mean, Kemba was ultimately, that was a
right.
sort of kind of weird trade situation.
Yeah, I mean, if the answer is what are the chances he's Reggie Miller, then it's probably 0 out of 10, just because that doesn't happen. So maybe we put some kind of qualifier on it in what is the likelihood that
is
LaMelo
traded
Ball,
under this contract, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I still say 7 of 10.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Just to clarify it, because what are the chances LaMelo's Tim Duncan? Okay, 0. These guys, these lifers, they don't exist really anymore. It's really tough for that to happen. Under this contract, I think it's a straight up 50-50 proposition. I cannot pin it down, Doug. I think this could go in a million different directions. I think you probably do see these guys get traded a little more so, especially if, let's say, even if you do win, let's say you do get to the postseason, then you're deemed a team that can't quite get over the hump, but at least you're a playoff team. Like, fans grow so tired of just staying at one spot the entire time. And teams go through pretty drastic changes in order to change what just happened the year prior, right? If we got to the second round for 3 straight years, well, we got to do something. If we got to the playoffs but didn't win a round for 3 straight years, 2 straight years, well, we got to do something. If you do it back to back and then you're at risk for accomplishing the same exact thing 3 straight years, yeah, they want to do something drastic to change that. My point being, even if they are successful, a lot of those times the stars are still traded. But are the Hornets in the business of trading a guy that is so good for business? I don't know. At 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 proposition of him getting traded under this contract.
LaMelo's good for LaMelo business. I mean, certainly I think there are some people that come and watch Hornets games because LaMelo exists. If Brandon Miller were playing at an all-NBA level, I think he could bring some subset of those fans, because honestly, like, the Hornets winning, that's the only thing that is truly going to be good for business. And if LaMelo hinders that in some way, then that's ultimately, it doesn't matter what his Instagram follower numbers are. None of that matters. And I'm not saying he does that, but those questions have to be answered. And that's why, I mean, I'll move it. I'll say, actually now, just talking it out, I'll move it to like 9 of 10. I can't be 100% certain on anything, but I'm like super certain. I'm super certain that this thing ends in a trade. That's how I see it. I don't know.
Okay. Well, look, you have a big window. Even with under this contract, you have this year, the year after, 2027, 28, 28, 29. So you have 4 more years, including this upcoming season. And then at the end of this 4-year contract, you're going to be talking about LaMelo being 28 years old. So maybe I'm a little bit low just calling it 50-50, not because of anything that surrounds LaMelo. This is just what happens in the NBA. Perhaps a little bit is specific to LaMelo, but this is also just what happens with NBA players. Everybody sees themselves on the trading block. John Morant could have gotten traded. Jaren Jackson might have been on the move this year if you're just going to Memphis. Desmond Bane did get traded. It happens all the time. Luka Doncic got traded. So, yeah, maybe I'm talking myself into climbing. He did. So did Micah Parsons. God, I'm sorry, Dallas. I'm so sorry.
I'm not.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Except, except for when they tried to win gold medal of the Oppression Olympics, as Nick Angstadt tries to put it. And I'm just letting you know, we're the dream team when it comes to participating in the Oppression Olympics. Oh, we got Michael Jordan, we got Scottie Pippen, we got Magic Johnson. We have been through a lot of pain.
I would kill to have what they had and then trade it. I would kill. I would literally murder. I would kill.
Okay, let's back off. You want to do a stat draft round, or do you want to wait until the next segment and try to fit a whole bunch of stuff in one segment?
A whole bunch of stuff in one segment.
Okay,
it's our specialty.
All right, coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
I would kill.
Stop.
Bees everywhere.
Is it wrong? Is that suddenly wrong?
Yes, these words can be used against you in a court of law. Segment 3, who were at best stat draft choices. We have David Walker's choices coming up. Final segment, LOH.
You're my work wife. You can't testify against me.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season, it is so close. It is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however I like to bet, and player props, building a same game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. You can do it all. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. That's more my speed. It's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Whole bunch of stuff. I mean, there's still there's still even some categories we can get to if we really wanted to, but we'll leave that behind. All right, we got to move on. Stat draft. David still has to make 2 picks. We contemplated making 3 picks, but I don't think we're going to have enough time for that. So, Doug, you steer the ship, and you have the information. You have the picks, with David Walker giving us his first and second selection in this year's stat draft. What are they?
I do. I will read these while you look up the actual numbers because I did not put these in. So the way this works, by the way, if you're just joining us, this is year 2 that we're doing this. We draft stat categories associated with players from the Charlotte Hornets or who will be joining the Charlotte Hornets this year. And then we draft the over or the under on that stat. So, for example, in round 1, I went LaMelo Ball, field goal percentage over. Last season, 40.5%. Walker selected Moussa Diabate, minutes per game, over 17.5. I think that's a little cheap. I think it's definitely going to hit, but whatever. David then goes with, I'm banning minutes per game next season. David, who is the reason why we banned games played as a category, has gone with LaMelo Ball assists over. He's going over on assists for LaMelo Ball. What was the number? Do you have the number in front of you?
LaMelo Ball, as I can have it up here very quickly. I was looking at some of the advanced stats to give you a clue as to what I might be looking at. His assists per game, 7.4, right on line with his career, actually. So last year, 7.4 assists per game. For his career, 7.4 assists per game.
So I think this makes some sense, though, because he is going to have a few more weapons to toss the ball to, unlike last season where I felt like, particularly at the beginning of the season, he felt like it was all on him, and he was looking for his shot a lot because he would often find guys in the corner who couldn't shoot threes, who couldn't do anything with the basketball, who were turning it over, and then he would just go into hero ball mode, which would sometimes work for the Hornets, sometimes not. So I think taking the over on his assists to have essentially a career high assist number, I don't think that's a bad bet.
Is it? It's not the most talented team, I don't think. I think that's still probably what he had his second year in the league when they were 4 games above 500.
Hayward,
but yeah, and there's I do think I thought about assists per game. The lack of a real lob threat, just 2 easy assists a game is going to hurt him. And Mark Williams and LaMelo, for all of Mark Williams' faults, they made sweet music together. So I think that is going to hurt him.
David, you fool. All right. Should I go? Oh, so it's round 2.
Snake draft.
We open up round 2. David gets his second straight pick, and he's going, this is one that I was targeting as well. He stole it right from under me. He's going Miles Bridges points under. And I believe he was at, 20.8 or 21.8 last season?
So I'll look it up, but what's interesting about this is it would be the second, if David wins on this, it would be the second straight year that somebody wins taking the under on Miles Bridges' points per game, because that's what I did after he averaged 21 points per game in 2023-2024. He would be taking the under on 20.3 points per game. So it would be the second time somebody won on it.
Yeah, you slid right under. And I honestly think that you would have lost that had Miles went on. Remember last season, Miles went on this crazy hot streak heading in to the All-Star break. And then he was like one of the hottest players in the NBA.
It was after. Was it not after? In that, I thought it was right after that he went on this crazy hot streak where he started going like for 35 and 40. Yeah. And it didn't last very long. But it was like a 5-game streak.
It was followed by he became one of the coldest players in the NBA. And I think it was that cold streak that sealed the deal for you.
It did. And now I thought I was going to win by the skin of my teeth, but then I actually won by a pretty comfortable margin because he was so bad in terms of efficiency. So it was in really the start of March 3rd. He went for 35, 23, 46, 26, 35, 31, then comes back down to 21 by the time you get to mid-March. And, yeah, just really shot cold. In fact, wouldn't get anything above 26, only got above 20 two more times the rest of the way. Anyway,
I'm gonna try to pull up. I'm gonna try to pull up this trend line for his game score on the screen while you make your pick, because it really, actually, I have it right now. It's incredible. Look at that thing. It goes,
that's a big dip, man.
Look, it goes way up, so far up above his season average, way up above the position average, and then craters towards the end of the season.
It's kind of funny how you see the season average take place really just from March on, like just playing like a supernova and then, playing anything but. So, yeah, you get to see it right there. All right, my second pick in the stat draft. There are two that I love. I'm going to take the simple one. I can only draft one category, right? Like for each player. That's the rule.
So that's the big rule. So if you do field goal percentage, like I did field goal percentage in round one, I can no longer go to the field goal percentage well.
Okay, I'm going to go to field goal percentage. I'm going to take Brandon Miller over 40.5. I just, that's really bad, honestly, from a guy that, has never shot all that much at the rim. I don't expect him. He's not bad shooting there off of cuts, and it's not like he finishes through contact well. But the lob threats, the transition, the backdoor cuts, the savvy maneuvering on the back line, he is able to hit at a decent percentage. I just can't see him. It's actually 40.3. Yeah, man. A 40.3 field goal percentage. That's the thing about Brandon. If he was so improved, if he was so good in the 27 game sample that we got last year, I think people would be talking about him a little differently. The story on Brandon would be, oh my God, this guy was awesome. He was destined for an all-star game in his second year. And those damn injuries, man, the scapholunate, that damn scapholunate ligament, it just took him out of an all-star campaign, but it wasn't. It just didn't shoot all that efficiently. 35.5% from three on crazy volume. That's been well documented, but I just think he's going to shoot over 40.3%. Like that's real bad, man. Like you're flirting with being in the 30s. Yeah, that will go up. Like I'm so sure of it. It should be a first pick. I would be really surprised if it didn't go up.
Yeah, there's a lot of overs that you can take with Brandon Miller, and I think if he stays healthy, you're going to be successful in those overs. I mean, year 3, year 4, I mean, those are two potential leap years where all the numbers could suddenly go up. And so you're playing a pretty good game if you go an over. I wonder, though, except on usage, because he had a 26.5% usage, up from 22.6 in his rookie season in those 27 games that he played. And that would be 91st percentile he was classified as a wing by Cleaning the Glass in his rookie year. He was classified as a forward in his second year. That would be 91st percentile among forwards. So top usage there. If LaMelo's healthy, you now have Colin Sexton. You brought back Trey Mann, Con Knipple. It's just a lot more ball handlers. You wonder if that usage goes down. Not significantly, but goes down.
Well, no, and I think that's going to help him. Remember how defenses were playing him. They were crowding him. He was the assignment. He was the focal point. And when defenses really focused in on him, that's when he struggled, which is understandable. You're a young player. You got to deal with that. And unfortunately, he didn't have a whole lot of practice there. I feel fairly confident, and more so than fairly. I feel really confident that he'll get above that 40.3 mark.
I'm trying to think about his end, because I want to go with something Brandon Miller here too. And I don't want to go like points per shot attempt, because you just went field goal percentage. That seems kind of cheap, because I could go points per shot attempt and say he's going to be a more efficient player, because that was 34th percentile last season. It dipped in his sophomore year from 111 to 109. I could go usage. In fact, I am going to go usage. Brandon Miller, usage under 26.5%. That will be my second round pick.
How do you feel about it? Like you just took it. You have to feel decent, but what are you most concerned about then, if you're concerned at all?
I'm concerned that LaMelo Ball gets hurt and he's going to get a lot more. He's going to get a lot more touches. I mean, that would be the biggest gamble there. Or that they move on from Sexton at the trade deadline. They move on from Trey Mann at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And then the back half, or not the back half, or whatever, the back quarter of the season, you're getting a lot more Brandon Miller. But maybe not. If they're not competing, then maybe you get a little bit less of Brandon Miller. I think you go either way. It's probably a silly one to do in round 2 if I were really drafting this thing, but I just wanted to get something Brandon Miller in, and I got it. So.
Okay, there you go. Let's move on. We can give you our 3rd round picks in the stat draft at a later date. We got to keep on this who wore it best track.
No, we're over time. No, we're over time. We can't. We're going to listen. This is an important conversation. We're at number 3 and there's some big names. I don't think it's much of an argument, but there's interesting names here. There's Gerald Wallace, there's Terry Rozier, there's Sexy Rexy, Rex Chapman wearing the number 3. And it would be, you've already dishonored Gerald Wallace enough by placing him number 8 on your top 35 Hornets of all time list. I don't know where he was.
Oh, you think that's too low? Oh,
that's way too low.
I was surprised because of, and part of it, I won't blow up your spot. Part of it is because of what you told me off the mic. I think maybe there was some more research done as to why I thought you were going to have Gerald Wallace a little bit. I thought you were surprised.
What did I tell you off the mic?
That you're going to make the argument that Terry Rozier wore it best.
Oh, well, I did. Yeah, you're right. I said that was my gut.
Yeah.
That was my gut. And then I went, when did I say that?
Fair enough.
I went and did
That's
research. Gerald Wallace. It's clearly Gerald
Yeah.
Wallace. But
Okay.
see, now we're having the segment. I didn't want to have the segment.
Right.
Now we're having the segment. It's clearly Gerald Wallace, and I'll tell you why when we actually do the segment. But you have him too low, and I want to give us enough breathing room to celebrate Gerald Wallace. Now, but answer this before we leave. Do you remember where he was on your 30th anniversary list when we did top 30 Hornets of all time?
Do you have the list there?
I don't.
Oh, yeah, because I can look it up right here. So, yeah, I have it right here. Do you want me to? I'll just tell you.
What was 30?
It was the same. Number 8. Yeah.
Well, my goal next show when we do this next week is to get him up this list. I think Bleacher Report put him on the Mount Rushmore of Hornets since 2000. Gerald Wallace deserves to be higher than 8, folks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Doug, people said that, and then they heard the rest of the 7 players, and then they retracted the statement. Like, I think I put Gerald Wallace as high as you could possibly put him, and that was real respect. There's one player I think you could argue that he could be above based off of longevity, but there's only one. That's really it. So we can talk about it. We'll talk about it in Who Wore It Best. It's always the next show we do Who Wore It Best. It's always the next one. So join us the next time. Okay, that'll do it for Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your pods. That includes YouTube. Go check out everyhornetsboxscore.com. And if you listen to one Locked On NBA, make it Friday's episode.
Make it Monday.
You should listen. You should listen to all of them. But if you make only just one of the Locked On NBAs in your life, make it this upcoming one. Make it your second listen with Matt Moore and Hayes and Doug Branson hosting for one final time. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Awesome show for you Charlotte 49ers fans out there. Going to be out at the Doghouse for the Dukes Mayo Classic. I'll be taking the Mayo shots. I want to high dive into a tub of Dukes Mayo.
God.
I'll be doing it. I'm doing it. It's happening.
Oh,
Go
take
Niners.
mine too. That's the word. In fact, in future, if we want to do a bet, make me take a mayo shot. I hate mayonnaise. I will eat it if it's incorporated into some kind of sauce.
Pasta salad, right?
Yeah. But just straight mayo on that's tough for me. That would be a bet thing to hold on to.
I have a take that nobody actually dislikes mayo. People dislike the amount of mayo. It's all about the amount people use because all it is fat and
when you get it
flavor enhancer.
When you get it, mayo used responsibly and blended within foods. Yes, I'm pro mayo. I'm anti. You're right. I'm anti the way that a lot of establishments abuse mayo.
Oh God.
Like a gloopy, a little of mayo out of the back of your sandwich. That'll make you hate mayo.
I think if McDonald's just took a tiny bit of time to spread the mayo on their McChickens, all the 50% of the people that say they don't like mayo would actually like mayonnaise. But the McChicken is just the worst type of mayo explosion in your mouth of all time. They put it all on one side of the sandwich, and it makes that sound when you bite into it. But that's my food take. Nobody dislikes mayo. They just like dislike the amount of mayo. Okay, listen to me. WFNZ 92.7 FM. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back with you tomorrow.